Hey guys, Diehl Games here, back on the Deals Gap OP Prison server for episode 20. I am back at Eric Lai 699's mine, and we're going to be doing a little bit of mining today and talking. As you can see, I am in /V, and that is because there are a large amount of people on the server. Everybody needs something, and I wanted to just be able to record this quick video. So I know there's some other admins on who can help people out. But I wanted to get some recording done for you guys, and I figured the easiest way to do that would be to go into /V and do that. But today I'm going to be talking about money and a lot of the misconceptions that I get, the way people act about it, all kinds of stuff like that. So we're gonna have a little money chat today while I'm down here mining. I'll try to try to focus on the topic, but you guys know with me, sometimes I go off on tangents and I don't go where I want to, and everything just goes awry. So we're gonna try to avoid that today, because I really I want to try to talk about this topic because it's sort of important. And I've been seeing a lot of things recently which have been sort of disappointing to me. Things that people assume, things that people don't understand, all sorts of stuff. So that's why I'm recording this video, really. And I have no idea who I'm going to be selling to today, so I may have to figure that out. But let's go ahead and start with the server. A lot of people, like when I put up my PC video, they said, "Oh, Diehl Games, you're a bad guy. You're using server donations to buy your own stuff." Nowhere will you find me or the other staff or anything on the buycraft referring to what people are buying as donations. It's not a donation. You're buying a package on a server. You're buying it. You're not donating for it. We don't use the word donation because this is my business. This is what I do for, like, I guess you could describe it as a part-time job during high school. This server it's my work. I work just as hard, if not harder, than all my classmates to make a good product for you guys. And the purchases that you're making on the store help out with that. That's part of what all that money goes to, is actually paying for the cost of the server, because of course if we don't have money, I'm not going to be paying the $460 a month to make sure that the server actually runs. Yeah, $460 a month. That's how much this thing is costing me, because it requires so much RAM and so much processor power. Like I said in the last video, in the update video, we have two 4-core Xeon processors. That's a lot of power, and 64 gigabytes of RAM. That's a lot of computer power to buy out, or to rent rather. Let's see, who has a good shop? Let's try out Tito Sharks. But it's expensive, and not only that, but there are other expenses that a lot of people don't take into account. I am one of very few servers, probably, I don't know, 5% of servers, maybe even less than that. I might be I'm in that very small percentage, maybe 2% of servers that pay their admins. Why? Because paid admins do a better job than unpaid admins. That's just how it is. Let's try Blackstar. Blackstar 506. But when admins are paid, they have more incentive to do a good job. Basically, they want to do the best job they can, because they know if they do a better job, they're either going to get bonuses from me, which is tacked on to whatever they earn at the end of the month, or they'll be better liked by players, because the players will want to use their coupon codes as a result. So when you use an admin's coupon code, that is how they're getting paid. We gotta find a good op shop. But yeah, so that's how the admins are paid. I hope I don't offend any admins by disclosing that, but I feel like it needs to be disclosed. Let's see. Shadow says he'll make me one. Real name Alpha. PH Alpha. Alright. let's go here and try this out. Opshop PH2. Okay. So the admins, how much is this? 75 mil. Okay, that's fine. The admins get a certain cut of their coupon code purchases, and that's how they're paid at the end of each payment period. So that's another big chunk that is going to be coming out of my cut at the end of each month. So we've got the $460 to keep the servers running. I've got to pay all the staff, which is a large chunk of change. And there are other expenses as well. I pay for advertising for several different things, websites, YouTubers. So that's another expense. That's how we grow the server. Oh, he doesn't have enough money. All right, that's disappointing. Let's go back to the mine. So lots of that money that you're paying is going to admins and to advertising the server, because of course I want the server to grow, because that just drives us and our developer to do even better stuff for you guys. And we work really hard. The admins work extremely hard. I know we've got admins who are putting in 4 to 6 hours a day on school days when they have school. They're coming on here and working. They're not just playing a game. It's not playing a game to them. It's real work. They work hard. They try to make sure all of you guys are happy. Sometimes people get mad at them because they have to make certain decisions which some people may not like. Like sometimes bans will land an admin in hot water with some other person, but that's just how it goes. Sometimes an admin may make a bad choice on a ban, and if they see that on the forums, they'll fix it because they're willing to admit when they're wrong, as long as decent proof is provided to them that they were doing the wrong thing at the time. And of course, I tried my best to do the same. I know a lot of you probably see me on here, and you think, oh, Diehl Games is doing nothing for the server. He's just standing around doing nothing right now. Usually when I'm doing that, it's because I'm working on plugins, editing files, trying to help donors over Skype to make sure that they're getting, or not donors. I say we don't refer to it as donors, and then I'm referring to it as donors, but trying to help buyers. I'm getting my terminology confused now, but trying to help buyers make sure that they get everything that they paid for, because of course I do want everybody who makes a contribution to the server to get everything that they pay for, because we're selling a product. That's what this is. One thing that we will never do is we'll never become pay to win, because that's dirty. I don't approve of that. I see that a lot of times in other games done by much larger companies than our own. But I never want to be pay to win. I want to make it so that people who buy packages, or people who don't buy packages rather, can be on the level of those who do. Buying a package may speed you along. It may make it easier for you to do certain things, but it's never going to make it so that you are completely in a different league from those people who don't buy things. That's something that we're always going to try to avoid, and I think we've done a good job of that. As you know, I don't use any donor gear on kits, factions, or prison, and I do fine. Of course, I get given a lot of gifts on prison, but on kits, I PvP with the same gear as everybody who hasn't bought any ranks, and I do just fine. I think I may be in the top killers on the kit server, even without any donor gear. So that just goes to show you, you can be on top just by being better at the game than somebody else. It's not pay to win. It never will be. I can promise you guys that. PH. Who was that guy? Alpha. Alright. But it'll never be pay to win. That's something I want to try to avoid. So now I hope you guys have a better understanding of how purchases on the server are used. I treat the server money as a salary for myself. I pay the bills for the server. I make sure everything is done as it needs to be and everything is working properly. I make sure everybody who's bought a rank is happy. I make sure all my admins are happy and that they've gotten paid a fair amount for all the work that they've put in. And I pay to advertise the server as well with YouTubers or websites or whatever that might be, but I pay for my advertising. and then whatever's left over is mine to spend on whatever I want, because I'm in high school, obviously, and I don't have bills to pay. So I can save. I could do something like buying a car. I could save for college, which I've been saving a lot of it for a long time. But people seem to have this predetermined notion that everything that I make on the server needs to be put right back into the server. Well, then I'd have no incentive to work on the server whatsoever. The server would stay the same. If I were making just enough money to keep the server running, then the server probably wouldn't be running, because there'd be nothing driving me to keep it running. Because that's just, it's a lot of work, guys. It's probably 6 hours a day for me, even on weekdays, maybe 8 hours a day on weekends, to make sure that everything is running properly, all the plugins are working all right, all the servers are staying online and not crashing. So it's a lot of work, and if I put every single cent that I got from purchased packages back into the server, then there wouldn't be a server, because this is my business. YouTube is sort of like a side project for me. I do YouTube for fun, not really for the money, because YouTube is just sort of a fun pastime that I enjoy doing, and I hope you guys enjoy watching my videos and watching my streams now. And by the way, I don't make any money on streams, if you're curious. Just throwing that out there. I do streaming purely because I like the interaction I get with you guys who've supported me all this time. But the server is my business, and that's how it's got to stay, because if I were paid, or if I made nothing from this, and I just had to work 8 hours a day, and I got nothing, and I had to constantly cater to everybody on the server, and ended up with absolutely nothing at the end of the month, then I think I wouldn't want to run the server anymore, and I think I'd be pretty mad, as most of you would be, if you've worked a lot, if you have a decent job where you're working, I don't know, let's say 20 hours a week and you're in high school. I think you'd be pretty mad if at the end of the week or at the end of the month, whenever your payment cycle is, you didn't get paid, because you've worked and you deserve to get something out of that. Let's see, let's go back to this guy's shop. The next thing I'd like to talk about is people just being straight up rude with money, because in my PC build video, a lot of people were asking me, oh, how much did your computer cost? How much did you spend on this? How much did this part cost? Why did you spend so much money on your computer? How much are you making to be able to afford this? Those aren't appropriate questions. When have those ever been appropriate questions? You wouldn't ask somebody that in real life, because they'd probably get offended by it. Whether somebody is making a lot of money and they don't want to embarrass anybody else, or whether they're making very little money and they don't want to be embarrassed themselves, it's not a good idea to ask somebody how much money they're making or how much something costs, because that's just straight up rude. You wouldn't go into somebody's home and start looking at all their, I don't know, say artwork that they have, and just start asking them how much it is, because that's incredibly rude, and you wouldn't do that in real life. The internet sort of acts as a screen to a lot of people that makes it seem like certain things aren't real life, when in reality the internet is real life, and you have to follow the same rules on the internet that you do face to face, because you can still offend people, you can still get on people's nerves, and you can ask questions that aren't really appropriate to ask. So you really have to watch your etiquette when it comes to things like that, and just make sure that you're saying things that aren't going to offend people. I'm not offended by it. It doesn't really bother me. I just think it's incredibly rude for people to ask that. That's not an okay thing to ask. If you do it to somebody else, they might get a lot more mad than me. Like, I saw some of those comments, and I just told people, like, I don't really think that's okay for you to ask. But somebody else might have just started blocking people because it's offensive. It can be extremely offensive. And I'm sorry, I'm reiterating myself a lot, but you wouldn't do that in real life, or face to face rather. So don't do it over the internet either. It's never an okay thing to ask somebody, no matter how close to you, or no matter how close to them you are. You really shouldn't be asking that question. But anyway, let's move on. The last thing I want to talk about is chargebacks. And there have been a lot of chargebacks going on the server recently, and again, there's that disconnect with the internet where people feel like, oh, this isn't real life. This money is just PayPal money. The seller of these purchases or of these packages won't miss it, and in this case, the seller is me. So when people do chargebacks, it pulls the money straight out of my PayPal account, and I have to fight in order to win it back, because that's the philosophy PayPal takes when it comes to credit cards and PayPal buyers and everything. So basically, right, I have to fight in order to win my money back after somebody's done a chargeback against me, and people have that disconnect. Crap, what was that guy's name? All right, perfect. They've got the disconnect where they think, oh, it's not real money, it's just PayPal money. Well, that pays for the server, it pays me, it pays my admins, it pays for all the costs. Oh, what am I doing? I'm just spamming that, and shop owner doesn't have enough money. Who has a good op shop? So when people are buying these expensive ranks for, say, $200 and then charging back, I have to take action against them. The server does now have a lawyer, because it's getting so large where we need one, and fairly soon I'm gonna have to start taking legal action against some of these people because they're charging back for such ridiculous amounts. And it's not even a situation where, oh, it was a kid who got a hold of their parents' credit card and then used it. Let's see. I have the best shop on the server, PH Shadow. Let's head there. Oh, sweet. 100 mil. Alright, well, like I was saying, it's not even a situation a lot of the time where it's a kid who's used a parent's credit card. It's a person who has... Dang it, he's out of money too. Great. You're out of money, Shadow. So the kid has permission to use the parent's credit card. They've been granted permission to use the card. They buy the rank. They play for, you know, a couple months, and then they decide, oh, I don't want this anymore. I want to move on to a new server. So I'll just take my money back and use it on something else. And by that point, the credit card bills have already been paid for. The parents know exactly what their kid has been doing with the money, and yet they still try to charge back. And with the way PayPal works, they almost always side with the buyer in a lot of cases. So that means, you know, 2 months later, I could be out $500 because somebody has decided they want to charge back their syndicate rank or something so that they can use it somewhere else. That's not fair. You don't get to go to, say, Walmart and, let's see, what's an example of something you could buy. You go to Walmart and you purchase a video game for Xbox or whatever. You play it for 2 months. 2 months, not, you know, a few days. You've used the disc up, the disc kind of scratches on it and everything, and then you decide, oh, okay, I beat this game, done with it. Let's return it to Walmart. They're not going to let you do that. That's not going to happen because you've used it. It's a used product. You've used it, you've enjoyed it, you don't get to decide that you just want to return it. It doesn't work like that, and oftentimes PayPal will allow people to do that, which is why I have to take some legal action in that. So just remember, chargebacks are a real thing that can really do damage to not only me, but the entire server, my admins, all sorts of different stuff. You can really screw people over with chargebacks. And I'm not going to be pushed around by people while they buy expensive things, they enjoy it, they use it for weeks, if not months, and then decide, oh, I'm going to move on, find a different server to scam. So I'm just going to return everything I've bought, get my money back, and that'll be that. No, that's not okay. And I won't allow the server or anybody to be pushed around like that by people who have that disconnect in their brains where they think this isn't real money. That's not going to happen. So I've been fighting a lot of the PayPal disputes. I win probably 90% of them. So it's probably not a good idea to charge back against us. We usually win and then you end up getting banned. Though I do often, I send out emails to people who have charged back and I say, like, did you mean to do this? Can you explain to me the situation? Maybe we can work something out. Because, of course, if a kid has used their parents' credit card and maybe bought a $20 rank, then I'll gladly let it slide and give the parents the benefit of the doubt and refund their money. But if it's somebody who spent a lot of money over the course of several months and then decided, I don't want this, then that's not going to happen. That shouldn't be allowed to happen, and we all know that that's not the right thing for people to do. So that's just my opinion on all this stuff, guys. I hope you have a greater understanding of how the server model works, how the server runs, how everybody on the server is getting paid, and how the server is getting advertised and everything like that. I always try to be extremely open to you guys because, of course, I like that sort of open relationship that I have with my subscribers where I can tell you guys all that stuff and give you a greater understanding of how everything works. But that's just my 2 cents on all this stuff. Please, no hate in the comments. If you have something constructive to add, feel free to do so. But don't tell me my opinions are wrong, because they're not. It's just that's how business works, guys. If you get a job and you work as hard as me and the admins do, then you'll understand. Because we deserve to get paid for our hard work, and it's only fair that we do. So thank you to those who understand. If you don't understand and you'd like some more clarification on how this stuff works, feel free to leave a comment about it, or if you don't feel comfortable asking me in the comments, you can send me a direct message. But that's really all I wanted to do for this episode. Sorry, not the most entertaining thing ever, but I hope it did give you a greater understanding of all this stuff. Until next time, I will be seeing you guys later. Diehl Games, signing out.